I rebuilt this blown engine Subaru WRX. This is a 2016 Subaru WRX and I bought it in less than perfect condition. I bought it with a non-working blown engine. I also bought it with significant damage to the exterior and interior of the car. I actually only paid $1,800 for this car, probably overpaid because it didn't even have brakes on it when I bought it. I mean, it truly was in a state of disrepair. In this video, I'm going to answer the age-old question, was it worth it? And I'm going to tell you guys not just about what you think when you hear blown engine WRX or wrecked WRX, meaning just the engine. We're going to talk about everything because the process of building this for me was I wanted to build this in a manner that if I was purchasing this as it was rebuilt, I'd feel comfortable purchasing it, meaning I want to rebuild it without cutting a single corner. And I don't think you should cut a corner when you're rebuilding a car. So at the end of the video, I'll tell you guys whether or not it's worth it and whether or not you should do it, because theoretically you can buy a WRX for less than $2,000 if you really wanted to and get it into working function. I mean, it's inspected, it's driving around right now, and we're doing the body work and that kind of stuff right now. So it's not completely done, but I'm like a month away from it being pretty much done and then on to the journey of like making it cool like the other WRX that I have. But yeah, we're just gonna dive in. We'll probably start with the engine, the transmission, and then we'll talk about the exterior, the interior, and just kind of other systems that you have to work on when you're rebuilding a car like this. We'll talk about the cost, the time, difficulty, frustration, you name it. We're going to go over absolutely everything. So you guys will walk out of this video with a strong understanding of, how hard are certain projects, how involved are they, some of the risks that you might take on by buying a working WRX. Like if you're, if you spin a bearing, like what does it entail? What are your options? What do you have to go through? How much is it going to cost? Because ultimately that's what happened with this car. It spun a bearing. So, yeah, let's just dive straight into it. And if you guys want to see more WRX content and maybe this stuff, which maybe you think it's cool, maybe it's not, you're going to learn something, subscribe to the channel and let's dive in. Okay, let's talk motor for a second. So what happened with this car specifically? It spun a bearing, and what was the process? So I ended up pulling the motor out. Once I had the motor completely pulled out, it was about taking it apart and seeing if it was savable. Did the pieces of metal that kind of comes off of a spun bearing, or the bearings themselves, the journal material that fails over time, does it get in and around the engine? And if it does, it becomes the question of, is it cheaper to rebuild the engine and buy new parts and rebuild the engine, or to buy a used working engine? In this instance, for this car, as I started to rebuild it, I realized that, I'll give you the short version, replacing everything new was like $2,000 and change more than buying a newer engine with very low mileage with all the extra appurtenances, everything else that comes on an engine, not just the block. You think like your pumps, your valves, your hoses, your gaskets, everything was a lot cheaper. So I ended up getting on eBay a motor out of a 2020 WRX, which also comes with all the little micro improvements that the newer WRXs had in the motor. And that motor only had I'd have to double check, I think it was 81,000 or 80,500 miles. And the body of this car has 156,000 miles on it. So I ended up taking that engine and just dropping it in. It's a really easy thing to do. For that engine, I paid $4,300 plus $150 to get it freighted here. So it was like, I think all told it was like $4,500 and change. And when you buy a used motor like that, one of the beautiful things about it is you pretty much just drop it into the car. I dropped the motor in, hooked everything up, and it worked fine. Obviously, I did a lot of other things, like replaced all the fluids and stuff, but, $1,800 WRX, and if you really want to make it easy, just buy a used engine. So then, I'm all told in probably right around $6,000, $6,200, and I've got a running WRX with an engine and a motor in it that's got 80,000 miles on it. Pretty good deal so far. So that's the engine. In terms of the transmission, I haven't had to do anything yet. Knowing that the transmission may have been beat on, I just don't know. I've always been like, oh, I'll just replace it with a new transmission or a used transmission, because you can get a used transmission that's got low mileage for the WRX for very, very cheap. It's really, really inexpensive. So what I've done is said to myself, if I see any inclinations that the transmission's not good in this car, I'll replace it even before it fails or anything like that. And it's been running great so far. I did put a new clutch, flywheel in. Basically everything that binds between the actual transmission itself and the engine has been replaced, new compression plate, all that kind of stuff. New bolts, new hardware. All that stuff has been replaced. And then same with the engine, I replaced a lot of the hoses, the gaskets, the PCV system, all the little things where you go on eBay and it's like, there's a beautiful thing when you're doing an engine, like when you're replacing an engine, that like you can get something like 30 or 40% of the things that come off the engine easily, whether it's gaskets, hoses, tubing for the intake system, you can get it pretty much brand new for like $200 or $300. So for $200 or $300, I want to say I replaced like 40 parts on the engine during the process. Do they need to be replaced? Probably not. Was it good to replace them? Probably. For $300, it's not a bad thing to do to just get it all replaced on the car. Engine and transmission were pretty easy and cheap. Well, not cheap, but like, I mean, with the clutch too, I think I'm at like $7,000 so far, engine and transmission, to get this thing moving. So that's with the price of the car, maybe $7,500, which a lot of you guys are saying, oh, that's already getting expensive. But you have to recognize that when you go and find one of these, let's say with similar mileage, you go out and you pay $9,000 for one, right? You're paying $9,000 one for similar mileage with an engine that hasn't been touched, hasn't been rebuilt. One of the beautiful things that I've got here is I've touched everything. Everything's been replaced, right? So I could get another 100,000 miles out of it without any touch. That's one of the beautiful things about it. People don't really recognize that, but it makes it a completely different ownership experience. So you can see my rusty brakes here, and obviously rusty brakes, you're like, oh, they're bad. Rusty brakes are actually usually a good thing because brakes don't rust like this unless they're pretty much brand new. I know that sounds silly, but the way that these are rusting are indicated of they're brand new, and you got brake dust on an even surface on the outside. But when I bought this car, the brakes had pretty much been stripped off of the car itself. So one of the other nice things about it is the entire braking system is basically brand new. Rotors, pads, calipers actually, all around, brake lines, brake fluid, everything is brand new. Slave cylinder or brake booster, cylinder, all that kind of stuff brand new. I was able to do all the brakes for something like, I say it was like $500 maybe, and that's everything. That's fluids, that's everything, and that includes some tools. There's a lot of companies that make really good OEM caliper replacements that really aren't that expensive. I want to say that they're like 60 or $70 a pop, but I went with the slotted brakes. Having had these before and having had VA WRXs before, these are pretty good brakes. Definitely upgraded from the original setup, and having new calipers and just having a new braking system, man, these things work great. Again, another positive out of it is nobody has touched the brakes for like many, many, many years because they're brand new. So we're going to go handheld for the rest of this. The next thing, a few things that you'll notice is obviously the front bumper is different. It's a different color and it's not painted. It's going to eventually get wrapped. This is a 2018 plus bumper. It's off of a 2021 WRX, I believe, or 2020 WRX. I'd have to double check. But upgraded the bumper there. We're gonna base coat it and then wrap it eventually. So that was a big upgrade. New lighting systems, fog lights, bezels, all that kind of stuff. Coming around to this side, brand new windshield that I put on there. New windshield wiper blades, that doesn't really matter. New door. There was a little bit of a ding in the door, and I just decided, hey, what the heck, I'm just going to replace the door. New mirror too. There was a little bit of a mark in there, replace the mirror. Surprisingly inexpensive to do. Also the door. I was able to salvage the door card from the previous door, and I got this door for like $60 or something, $65. I don't exactly remember, but it was a good deal. Has a little bit of scratch, but we're gonna paint it and wrap it. Next thing you'll notice is there's some areas that I'm working on right now. These are just like little divots. They're not big problems. Obviously that looks like a big problem, but I'm still sanding and evening it out. This was like a little bit of a dent that I just didn't want to pop through on the wrap, so I'm making it literally perfect. Again, I'm trying to build something here that is perfect for the person that's gonna have this next if I give it away or something. And then here's the worst part of damage. They got sideswiped eventually. They just decided to screw the bumper in, and then obviously where the paint stripped, there's a little bit of rust. So I'm just fixing that. My little painter's tape is just a mark to come back and do this. What I'm probably going to end up doing is knocking this out, doing a lot of Bondo work, probably replacing the bumper, and then doing some rust protective work on the inside. This isn't that big of a project, but once this gets done, it'll look really nice. New exhaust. We'll put an F1 light on there, and we'll be doing some stuff on the trunk coming around. Just a few spots you can see. Again, no scratches, no dings. These are just little imperfections that I was like, I'm just gonna sand and fill them so it's absolutely perfect. Again, trying to create a car here that you wouldn't be able to tell has had any problems on it. Same thing goes with the driver's side mirror. Obviously, there was just like a little bit of a mark, so I'm just finishing that out so it is absolutely perfect again because I'm going to be wrapping it. It is going to be a hyper blue wrap, so we're going to have a nice light blue Subaru, which everybody wants. Now, interior of the car, this is something that, I'm actually not going to show you around it. I'll show some clips from when I was actually doing the work, but the interior, just because it wasn't in perfect shape, I ended up just replacing almost all of the interior. So almost every single thing in the interior has been replaced. Everything from the seats, the steering wheel, to like half of the front panels, and like the panels and the pillars and the trims, the glove compartment. I ended up just replacing all of it. The parking brake, the center console, everything has just basically been replaced to newer cars. Everything that I put in there had less than 30,000 miles on it because I figured out that I could get stuff on eBay for really cheap. It's surprising how many interior parts are available for these cars for like almost nothing. Look at the power of me moving my polarizer there. You can almost see into the interior there. But then that's the interior. So for exterior, I haven't actually spent a lot of money. I want to say probably maybe 60 bucks so far on the exterior, other than the door and the sidecar, just for like material to like clean stuff up and paint. Interior, I think I spent like 280 bucks for all the panels and everything. And I think I spent about $100 for the seats. So maybe like $400 on the interior between all assemblies, so not too bad. Oh, and I think I paid like 125 for the bumper or something like that. So if you start doing the math here, I have a 2016 WRX. It's got on the body, which is barely the body. And that's the other thing. Everyone's going to ask about the suspension. For whatever reason, because of where this car was located and how it was parked in a garage all the time, the suspension on this car is like next to perfect. There's zero rust on the car, except for around the door where the paint was done, but the underside of the car, literally zero rust. It's in perfect shape. If you told me that this car was a 20,000 mile car from California, I would believe you based on the underside of the car. But I think it's just because it was garage kept for almost its entirety of its life. Even though it was in poor condition when I bought it, it was garage kept. So I think it says a lot about, you know, what garage kept cars can do. That being said, so if you follow the math here, I paid $1,800 for the car. By the time I had the transmission, the brakes, and the engine going, so it was perfect, I was just around $7,500. And then if you do the math on everything else, I'm up to about $9,500, $9,400 all told. Again, it's a little bit more than I was expecting to spend, just because I thought I was gonna be able to rebuild the engine for like two and a half grand, but I ended up going with a new engine. Do I regret doing that? Absolutely not. One of the perks, again, is I have like basically a brand new engine in the car. It's only got 80,000 miles on it. Most of you guys are gonna be like, that's nothing in terms of mileage. It's also coming out of 2020, which has a lot of upgrades. And I've replaced so many things, appurtenances and pieces of the engine, you know, like the pumps, the valves, the belts, all that kind of stuff, the gaskets, the lines, the hoses. I'm gonna get a lot of life out of this car. Knock on wood, it should give me a lot of life. Everything's leaning towards it. It's also got brand new brakes, it's got a new clutch, it's got all the things. All the major maintenance on this car, every major fluid, everything has been touched and done. Is that worth $9,400 relative to what this is worth in the market now? For sure. You know, if I were to sell this car, it's tough because if it didn't have all that, its current worth is probably around 9 grand. You know, so maybe I'm a little over it. But the thing is that 9 grand with what someone else would pay for maybe $6,000 worth of service. So obviously I can't sell it for $15,000, but I'm just saying it's worth 9 grand, but it's 9 grand with about a $6,000 service on it. So I'm feeling pretty good about the car itself. It also makes me feel really good about, you know, if I do give it away for the channel or something like that, or this is like, I figure out how to like do like a giveaway or like a lower cost to a subscriber because it's their first WRX or something like that, I feel good about giving this car to somebody because so much of it has been touched and worked on. So with that said, it's even just a good car to drive around. I'm really happy with it. Do I regret it? That's the $1,000,000 question. And the answer is, although you've just heard a lot of positivity here and like, didn't spend more than I thought, like it's been great, I do actually regret it. And part of the reason that I regret it is because I probably could have put the same amount of work and effort into a VB WRX, like the one that's behind me, and come out significantly further in the modification realm. Because I had to touch so much of this, and the cost of upgrading every piece of it as I went, if I wanted to upgrade it, got so expensive as tuning has become more available on the VB WRX, like things like ethanol and things like that. The ROI and return on doing big horsepower build on this has gone down. You know, the initial take and initial plan with this was to make a really high horsepower WRX, but I can make so much horsepower just on a good motor on the VB WRX. I think the plans have changed. It's to make this a nice car. You know, obviously it's going to get wrapped. It's going to look really nice. It's going to be very turnkey. But I think the next step is to do this all over again with a VB WRX that has engine problems and, you know, put a new motor in it, do all the same things, maybe rebuild the motor, maybe a new block and that kind of stuff, just where I can have a little bit more fun. Having done this again also, the other big thing that I've learned is once you get to know how to do a lot of this work, it's a lot easier to manipulate the car in a different way. If I were to do this all again with a VB WRX, I might take on some projects like a sequential gearbox or stripping the interior or something where I can really make the car very unique. So do I regret it? A little bit. But was it the best learning process ever for myself? Yes. The other big thing that you would, if you're going to do this on your own, the other big thing that will be incredibly useful is it will force you to buy the exact tools you'll need for the rest of your life to work on cars. Those tools are, yes, expensive. Some of those are baked into the costs I was talking about here, but I would say that there's probably another $2,000 in tools that I had to buy. I did buy quick jacks and stuff like that, but if you bake that into the cost of the car, maybe it was like an $11,000 project. But you'll fill out all the tools you'll need for the rest of your life, which is a relatively a good thing. The other thing that'll do is your mechanical confidence in what you're doing with cars will skyrocket. I already went into this feeling pretty confident that I could do all this stuff and do all this work. You know, I worked on cars and owned automotive stuff. I'm a mechanical engineer, right up my alley, but I think that this has pushed me in ways that I wasn't prepared for, like working on an older car, and I don't know, shoot up those skills. So thank you guys for watching, and hopefully I gave you some insight. And if you're interested in this car, let me know. I'm not trying to sell it, but like if you're interested and you want to be on the wait list, definitely let me know, because eventually this car will be up for sale. I'll see you guys in the future.